Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we've got a 20-minute beginner kettlebell workout. So this one is perfect if you're new to kettlebells. And today I'm using one single 16 kilogram kettlebell. Just grab whatever weights that you feel comfortable with, and over time, as you come back to the workout, try to increase that weight and you will get stronger and you'll build more muscle. We've got 30 seconds of work followed by 30 seconds of rest in an interval style. 10 exercises and 2 rounds. So make sure you're warmed up. I'll link a 5-minute warm-up routine in the top right-hand corner. You can also warm up those fingers by clicking the subscribe button. And when you're ready to go, let's do this. So our first exercise is going to be a suitcase deadlift. We're gonna start with the feet about parallel with the hips. The kettlebell is gonna be outside of the right foot on this first exercise. We hinge at the hips, send the hips backwards, bend in the knees. We grab the kettlebell with the right hand. Let's get ready to go. We lift the kettlebell up, extend the hips forward, nice straight line down the body at the top, and then we lower again by sending the hips back. Now focus on your breathing. What I want you to do is breathe out as you lift, and then breathe in as you lower. Really important here that you keep a nice flat back. So we're looking to keep a neutral spine, and a good cue for that is to imagine that you've got a nice straight back. So one more lift and lower. Now 30 seconds of rest. Now in this rest, let's look to just safely bring that kettlebell, this time outside of the left foot. So again, feet about in line with your hips down to the floor, parallel with each other, kettlebell outside of the left foot. I want you to focus on your breathing again. So you breathe out as you lift and you breathe in as you lower. So let's get ready to send the hips back, grab the kettlebell in the left hand, breathe out, lift, and back down to the ground. Focusing on keeping a nice flat back. So we don't want to be rounding the back over when we grab that kettlebell at the bottom of the rep. All about the hips moving backwards and forwards. And take a rest, 30-second rest. Okay, next up we've got some goblet squats. So we call it goblet squats because we're holding the kettlebell by the horns here. So both hands on the kettlebell and grabbing it by the horns, we hold it in front of the chest, and then we send the hips down and back into a squat. Now there is another way we can hold the kettlebell, and that's bottoms up. So that's with the handles facing down, holding it by the bell. See what feels comfortable for you today. If it's your first time, it might be easier to grab it by the horns. Let's go. By holding it by the horns like this, we are also working on our grip strength. But if you find that your grip is struggling with the weight of that kettlebell, then maybe you can try the other way of holding the kettlebell. And I'll show that in round 2. So keep going. Get down as far as you can in that squat today. And take a rest. Okay, next up, some Romanian deadlifts. Kettlebell's gonna be in both the hands, so we're holding the kettlebell by the handle with both the hands, and the important thing here is we're keeping the legs straight. So you can keep a micro bend in the knees if you want to protect your knees from overextension, but the important factor is to keep the legs straight, and you simply send the hips back as you lower. So let's pick that kettlebell up, both hands, we lower from the top position. From here, legs are straight. We send the hips back, kettlebell tracks down the shins, and then we extend the hips forward to lift back up. So we want to go down to the point that we feel a nice stretch down the back of the legs, down the hamstrings. The moment you feel your back starting to round over at the bottom, that means you've gone a little bit too far. You want to keep your back parallel with the floor in that bottom position. And take a rest, so 30-second rest. Next up, overhead press. So the safe way to hold a kettlebell for the overhead press with both hands is to punch your thumbs through the gap between the handle and the bell as the kettlebell's on the floor. From there, we grip the bell and then we pick it up. So your thumbs here should stop that kettlebell from potentially rolling back towards your face. From here, we're gonna press above the head with both hands. So a nice, slow, controlled movement. We breathe out as we push up. We breathe in as we lower. And take a rest. Next up, working on the back muscles here. We're gonna have a wider stance, turn the toes out slightly. We hinge at the hips, keep a nice flat back. We're gonna grab the kettlebell with one hand, and we're gonna row it up towards the belt line. We lower it back down, and then we do the same with the other hand. So each rep, we're gonna alternate which arm that we're rowing that kettlebell up with. So let's go. Make sure you keep your back nice and flat, keep that spine neutral. And rest. Okay, set that kettlebell aside just for this exercise. We're gonna work the chest with some push-ups. So if you can do these push-ups with your knees off the ground, that would be ideal. If these do become a bit too challenging, simply place your knees on the floor and continue to do your push-ups. So looking to keep the elbows quite tight into the body, a bit more focus on the triceps. Try and get a full range of motion. So right down to the point that your nose touches the ground, and then full extension at the top. And rest. Good work. Okay, next up, working the triceps. So here we're gonna have a bottoms up kettlebell, which just means that the kettlebell is upside down. Now we get into that position by grabbing the kettlebell, by coming over the front of the horns, grabbing it by the horns, and then once we do that, it means that when we pick it up, it's gonna flip upside down. From there, we extend it above the head, and then we lower behind the head and extend. So these are overhead tricep extensions, working those triceps. And rest, bring that kettlebell back over your head nice and safely. Let's set that kettlebell aside. A little bit of work on the core now. Let's see if we can do a plank hold for the full 30 seconds. So plank on our elbows, try and keep a nice flat back, straight line, right from the crown of the head right down to the heels. Again, if these become too challenging, just place your knees down and try and stay in that plank. So let's go, 30 seconds plank hold. Nice long, slow breaths. Focus. Make sure that you keep those hips up. I don't want to see those hips down towards the ground. And rest. Okay, last exercise of the round. Now that we're nice and warmed up, let's do some kettlebell swings. So, one of the foundational kettlebell exercises, fundamental was actually the word I was looking for. So we start nice triangle shape on the floor, from the kettlebell to the toes. That should mean it's the right space in front of you. From there, we hinge at the hips, grab the handle with both hands, tilt the kettlebell towards you. We're gonna hike it up to underneath the crotch, and then extend the hips forward. So really important here that we're hinging at the hips and then extending the hips forward to thrust that kettlebell up. All of the power should be coming from your hips. And rest. That is the end of round one. Amazing work. Grab some water if you need to. If you need a little bit of extra rest, just pause the video, catch your breath, come back in when you feel comfortable. We're going back to exercise one of the round, which if you remember was our suitcase deadlift. Starting with the right arm, so kettlebell outside of the right foot. Hinge at the hips, slight bend at the knee, at both the knees, sorry. Grab the kettlebell. Remember, think about your breathing, so breathe out, on the way up, and in on the way down. And rest. Great job. So get ready for the same on the other side, which means kettlebell starts outside of your left foot. Suitcase deadlifts. This time with the kettlebell in the left hand. So about 10 more seconds of rest. Okay, let's get ready to go. Remember to keep your spine nice and neutral, so the cue is a flat back. And rest. Great work. Next up, goblet squats. So before I showed you holding the kettlebell in that goblet position, so by the horns. If you want to, you can try the other method, which is to bring the kettlebell upside down with the handle facing the floor and holding the kettlebell by the actual bell. What this does is it means that you're not so much using your grip. So you can rest the kettlebell on your chest, and then from there, you can do your squats. Personally, I do prefer this grip just because it means that my grip won't give way, so I can focus more on my legs. I can lift more weight, I can lift for longer, because your legs are much bigger muscles than your forearms, so this is looking to work the legs. So sometimes your grip gives way before your legs do. Take a rest, kettlebell back down to the floor nice and safely. Next up, Romanian deadlift. So if you remember, this was all about keeping the legs nice and straight. It's gonna put more emphasis on your posterior chain, on your glutes and hamstrings. Kettlebells being held by both hands. So let's pick that kettlebell up. Okay, from there, legs stay straight. Send the hips back and slowly lower. Let that kettlebell track down the front of your legs and down your shins. And then we stop at the point that we're parallel with the floor, or when you feel a great stretch in your hamstrings. It's gonna be a little bit different for everyone, but you wanna stop before you start rounding your back. So it's all about keeping your back nice and straight. Keep your chin slightly tucked and take a rest. Okay, next up, overhead press. So if you remember from the first round, we punched our thumbs through the gap between the handle and the bell. We then picked the kettlebell up from there. Those thumbs stopping that kettlebell from rolling towards you. From here, we're gonna press above the head. Okay, let's go. Breathe out as you press, breathe in as you lower. Take a rest, kettlebell comes back down to the floor. So next up, we've got alternating rows. So our stance is a bit wider, you can turn the toes slightly out. We then hinge at the hips, keep a nice flat back. We're gonna row the kettlebell up with a single arm, up to the belt line, back down, and then we're gonna alternate each arm every time. Okay, let's go. Great job. Next up, push-ups. So kettlebell off to the side. Come down to the mat. So regular full range of motion push-ups, focusing on staying nice and slow and controlled, keeping constant tension. If it gets too challenging, place your knees on the floor and keep going. Let's go, 30 seconds of push-ups. Keep going, 5 more seconds, you got this. Great job. Take a rest. Okay, this time around I want us to do some goblet curls. So in the first round we did overhead tricep extensions, working the triceps. Let's switch it up and do some work on the biceps this time. We're gonna hold the kettlebell in the goblet position, just like with the goblet squat. Holding it by the horns. What we're gonna do is just do some bicep curls, keep those elbows locked in place. So we just curl the kettlebell up, slowly back down, keeping the elbows locked. Nice, slow, controlled movement, especially on the way down. And rest. Awesome work. Set that kettlebell aside again. We're gonna do 30-second plank hold. So coming down to the mat. Okay, let's get ready to go. Got about 5 seconds and then we'll start. Okay, let's do this plank hold. So focus in. Keep breathing. Deep breaths. Stay there, just 10 more seconds, you got this. And rest. Okay, last exercise of this workout. So let's finish strong together. Bring that kettlebell back into play. We're gonna finish on swings. Nice high intensity exercise to finish this workout on. So important cues. we hinge at the hips, both hands on the kettlebell. We're gonna hike it up to just below the crotch. We're in a nice hip hinge at this point, and then we extend the hips forward to thrust that kettlebell up. Let's go. 30 seconds of swings. Keep going. You got this. Let's finish strong together. Just 10 more seconds. Here you go. 5 more seconds. You got this. Stick with me. And rest. Amazing work. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you enjoyed that workout. If you did, then please like the video, subscribe to my channel, click the notification button, and drop me a comment. Let me know all about your fitness journey. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling, and if you have any suggestions of any videos that you would like to see, please let me know in the comments below. I'll link a 5-minute cool down and stretch routine up in the top right hand corner. Make sure that you always stretch and cool down after every workout. Thank you for joining me so much, and I hope to see you on another workout soon.